We're waking up this morning to devastation in Minneapolis. Peaceful protests transitioning into violence and looting. One man is dead and another is in custody after a shooting near the demonstrations. Some buildings up in flames, others seriously damaged. An apartment complex that was under construction on 29th Street has burned to the ground. This is near the corner of 29th Street and 27th Avenue. The fire could be seen from miles away. The Wendy's nearby also burned, in addition to several other buildings around the area. Our crews captured some people trying to save their neighborhood as buildings burned. You can see people doing what they can, grabbing buckets of water, trying to stop the flames from spreading. Really emotional, heartbreaking video. All of this coming as a community and nation react to the death of George Floyd. He died after an incident with Minneapolis police on Monday night. Now, viral video shows an officer with his knee on Floyd's neck as he constantly screams for help and says he can't breathe. We've got team coverage this morning on everything unfolding on the streets of Minneapolis. Ellery McCardle is reporting on violence that has ramped up overnight. Gordon Severson has what's next as the city continues to try and heal from this tragedy. First, let's get to Ellery. Ellery, what are you seeing this morning?
It's really difficult to watch all of this happening in our city overnight, from the fires to the looting to the violence. You know, people are just so furious over the death of George Floyd. You know, those protests went from peaceful to just awful. Take a look.
George Floyd! Stop the system! George Floyd! George Floyd!
So you can see protesters are chanting George Floyd over and over as police officers are lined up to block them. The protest started out peaceful, but some people turned violent. And then the looting started, and you can see people running in and out of some local stores. Street trashing stores.
We're having trouble with Ellery's audio there, but we can say there was a lot of protests and a lot of stores were damaged. You can see some people taking advantage and taking some things from Target there last night. Also, all of this has Minneapolis police investigating a homicide. They say it happened near Bloomington Avenue and Lake Street. Officers were called to the area and found a man lying on a sidewalk and say he was shot. He was taken to HCMC and died.
We've had a number of fires set. We've had a good amount of looting, or a bad amount of looting, actually, and just widespread civil disobedience. And it's unfortunate. It's sad. If people are there, truly there, to honor the memory of the decedent and the family, this isn't how you do it. And it's so disrespectful, and it's heartbreaking. It really is. People are utilizing this as a purpose to just make bad decisions.
Governor Walz is asking people to stay out of the area of Lake and Hiawatha. Certainly, we are staying away, Ellery and the rest of the crew, because it's not safe, but we hope to hook up with Ellery again at 5:30, and we'll have the latest from her here on Sunrise. Now, during all this, Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey is calling for everyone to keep the peace and honor George Floyd's memory. We talked with him last night. He had a message for Minneapolis police officers.
What you see is that those who are protesting peacefully get lumped in with those who are not. Police officers that are doing their job with compassion get lumped in with those that are not. And, you know, this is a crisis on top of a crisis, pandemic followed by, of course, this really tragic killing. And throughout, the last 6 weeks, our police officers have been working their tails off. And so, we need to be able to hold these truths in our heart at the same time, which is that the individual, the officer that horrifically killed George Floyd, we need justice there. He needs to be held accountable, and I've said that again and again and again.
St. Paul police and state troopers are assisting Minneapolis police. We asked Mayor Fry about possibly bringing in the National Guard. He said he and his team were looking at options for additional help, but did not go into any specifics. Several businesses on Lake Street have been either damaged or destroyed. Gordon Severson says some local business owners have had a rough night. Tell us about that, Gordon.
Yeah, Chris, a lot of these business owners say that they put their hearts and souls into their businesses, so many of them were actually out here, spent the night out here on the street to protect them. We spoke to the owner of Sonora Grill, who's been sitting out in his parking lot ever since he closed down his kitchen last night. He's seen a lot of activity around his restaurant, including a body shop nearby that had 4 cars stolen from it. He's been watching them speeding up and down Lake Street. He says one of those cars he heard was the one that smashed into TCF Bank here in the neighborhood. He feels fortunate, though, that so far his business has been left untouched.
We've been already struggling for a couple of months with everything happening, but this is crazy right now. I had no idea what's going to happen. And
we've also heard that some business owners are resorting to carrying guns to protect their property. We did hear about one business owner who actually fired a BB gun several times into the air to scare people who got too close to his property. So, Chris, obviously, despite all of these dangers, some of these business owners aren't backing down. Back to you.
Tense situation in that area. Thanks a lot for that, Gordon.